What's up everyone? Welcome to another Brewmaster video. On this one, I took the questions that I see more often being asked, being it on the Discord channels or on the stream chats and whatnot, and I decided to answer them and try to explain them so that I can share the knowledge and then you can also be helping people who has those same questions. So let's start with it. And the first random question spammed every day on Discord servers and on stream chats is why everyone says to gem crit? Isn't agility our main stat? Well, the fast answer is yes, agility is our main stat. But to understand why you should gem crit, we should understand what each of the stats give us to figure out why one is better than the other. So let's do that right now. First, the agility, it will give us attack power, 1-to-2 ratio, 1 agility gives us 2 attack power, dodge, and critical strike. You need around 1.2k agility to have a 1% critical strike bonus. And agility gems will give us 160 agility. On the other side, the crit will give us critical strike, and you need around 600 critical strike rating to have 1% crit. And the gems give us 320 crit. So just by looking at the numbers roughly, we can already understand that for pure crit, critical strike gems have way more value than agility gems. Oh, but what about the rest of the stats that agility gives us? Good question. Let's check them all. First, dodge. We don't need dodge. Our avoidance comes from our kit as a brewmaster, so dodge is not something that we are looking for to get from jamming. Then, attack power. 1 agility gives us 2 attack power, which would mean that if you have 1000 agility from gems, you're gonna get extra 2000 attack power. Okay, 2000 attack power is nice, but we need to remember something. We are speaking about a version of the game where tanks can have completely mad mental vengeance values. So for example, even with just a low value, let's suppose you have 100k vengeance. When you have 100,000 attack power coming from vengeance, these 2000 attack power from agility won't be so relevant. Meanwhile, the crit will still be there. And the more vengeance you get, less relevant this attack power will be, while more relevant the crit will be. So if we assume that we don't want dodge, the attack power bonus is not relevant when we have high vengeance, and the higher vengeance gets, less relevant it becomes. And the crit gems give us pound by pound way more crit than what agility gems give us. That's why we gem crit, because the crit value that we're gonna get from the gems will be a higher buff than all of what agility combined will give us. Meanwhile, if during the video, if you have some questions that are not answered here, feel free to leave them on the chat, and let's go to the second question. Why are the damage values on my character sheet always red? And by red, it means this red. At some point on original MoP, Blizzard decided that the Brewmaster was a bit too strong for their taste, so they applied a kinda core 15% nerf, which makes your damage go lower than what the game decides that will be appropriate for you. That's the reason why these numbers are red. It's nothing that you are doing wrong, it's nothing particularly weird, it just you have less attack power than you would. Less damage than you would because of that nerf. Because since we are starting on MoP Classic with a further patch, that nerf I think it was around 5.3, 5.4, and we are starting with patches after that, the nerf is included. So that's why your numbers are red. Next one. Should I dual wield two one-handeds or use a two-handed weapon? That is the eternal question. Let's try to understand. First, item level is king. Whatever is the option, whatever option you have with the highest item level is the option you're gonna use. Now, assuming that you have both options on same item level. Dual wield. Possibly higher DPS. You get 2 enchants on your weapons. While two-handed weapon, usually you get higher stats and usually you get slightly better survival because of the next step. With dual wield, your elusive brew stacks will come in a 1 or 2 per crit, which makes them like consistent, but might work out being slower than with two-handed weapon, because with two-handed weapon you're gonna have them coming bursty on 3 charges sometimes per crit, which might lead to a higher uptime on your elusive brew. Also, dual wield looks cooler, so you have that. It's also important to know that the charges of elusive brew, they are bound not only to weapon type, they are bound to weapon speed. So if your weapon speed is 2.6, you have a 50-50 chance of getting 1 charge or 2 per crit. If your weapon speed is 3.3, which is normally the staffs, you get 2 charges with 25% chance or 3 charges with 75% chance. If your weapon is 3.6 or higher, which is usually the polearms, you get 3 charges always per crit. And even more important to know, and this is what changes for us in the future. When you are using dual wield, or in this case one-handed weapons, your crit caps on 57%. So if at some point you will get to a place where you have 57% crit, that is the moment when you change to a two-handed and you stay with a two-handed, and two-handed becomes better. Because with a two-handed, your crit, it's 75%, your crit cap. So having a two-handed instead of the dual-wielding one-handed, it will allow you to have that much crit, making it superior than the dual wield. I hope it was understandable. If not, let me know. Next one. What add-ons and weakauras should I use? Well, that one is most of the times is up to preference. Different people like different add-ons, but there is some places that you should touch while being a tank, especially. A raider in general, but for a tank is also important. For example, a CD tracker or notes, so you can know who on your raid has what CD that you are able to use and ask from them. For example, these you can use the method raid tools and have these on incorporated on it. Notes is also important, so you don't have to think much about it. For example, you just put on the notes what you want to use during the fight. It has on your screen, you just need to look there, like Impale 2, pain suppression. And you know that when the second Impale is about to come, for example, you need to ask for the pain suppression. So you don't have to be in the middle of the raid, plus to everything else that you are doing, thinking what cooldowns to ask for. Next one, weakauras. I think it's completely indispensable. Everyone uses the weakauras add-on so they can have their weakauras, packs and raid helpers, etc. Raid assist, like big wigs, deadly boss modes, it's also very useful. Some information input, like for example details, so you can just at any moment you die from the boss, you need to fast know what killed you, what type of damage, so you could change, so you could adapt, and details can tell you that right away. It's also cool to know that you are beating all your DPS boys on a raid in damage and you are a tank, so cool on that. A logger, like being it yourself or someone on your raid making logs, it's important for improvement. You can always, like, if there is a fight you are not happy with how it's going, you can go on the logs, analyze it, what happened on that phase that you don't like it so much, so you can understand how to improve, how to become better, how to change it in a way that make your raid more comfortable and helps in general to progress on that fight. And nameplates add-on. For example, I use Plater. If you use LVY, they also have incorporated a plate add-on. But nameplates are very important for a tank. You need to know and have it clear if the aggro is on you, if someone is pulling threat from you, if your off tank or your main tank, if you are the off tank, is the one that has the aggro of the other boss. For example, in my case, if I have the mobs on me, they have one color. If the mobs are on my off tank, they have another color. And if the mobs are not in any of us, they are with another color. So we know, I know when to... Should I taunt that mob? Oh, it's on my off tank. It's okay, let it be. Oh, that mob is on someone from the raid, so I need to taunt from him. Also, if possible, have the target of target name on the plater. It also helps. As for weakauras, your class spec of choice, where you can check like all your CDs, timers, buffs, debuffs, procs, etc. You have a lot of good add-on, a lot of good weakauras creators on the weakauras website, and pick one you like, modify it the way it feels more comfortable for you. Usually it's what I do. I just pick one that has almost all the information that I want, and I adjust position, sizes, and little bells and whistles to make it more like the way I enjoy having it. And you also need some weakauras for tanking tools, like taunt DRs and tank CDs, so you can know, for example, you have your off tank that is tanking a boss that you are supposed to taunt, but he just got a pain suppression or something like 3 seconds ago. You can check that on your tank CDs. You know that he still has a cooldown for more 3 or 4 seconds. Let him stay with it so you don't take it from him. And it's important to know that. In general, make it as you like it, but keep it simple, keep it clean. Figure out what you miss and get it, and figure out what you don't need and remove it. A clean UI helps you a lot to have first awareness of what's happening around you, and to not be burdened by extra information that you don't need. Make sure that everything that is on your screen needs to be there, and it's not there just because it looks cool or something like that. Next one. Will my raid be fine with a Brewmaster, or should we take something else? Well, the question you should be asking is, can your tank player play a Brewmaster? If the answer is yes, then you're gonna be perfectly fine with a Brewmaster. I believe most of the raids gonna have a Brewmaster on their tanking team. Next one. Can anyone help me understanding stagger? Yes, I can. You just need to click on the video that will show somewhere on your screen now, and in there I will explain you the stagger. Like if you like, subscribe if you didn't subscribe yet, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!